Welcome to the halfway point of 2024, and I've got something to show you that is game-changing. And yes, I'll tell you now that I will absolutely share it with you because we know that collaboration lives at the top while competition lives at the bottom. So this is Vince Ramsey with Rise Up in Real Estate, and let's get into what I have to show you today. Good news, a lot of very reputable sources are saying that rates may tick down here in the next 6 months, down to the 6.3s, maybe 6.5, 6.7s for the second half of the year. Considering where we're at now, that's actually a pretty okay decrease. So why is that important? It's important because let's just say there is a tick down and a chance for increased production. You have to ask yourself, am I ready for more volume? So am I ready to capitalize on this? That's the word you should be thinking of, capitalizing on the market conditions. But be careful, that's a slippery slope. We know that the market conditions don't impact our daily activities because we are going to put in the work regardless. But whenever they do turn more favorable, it is really nice to know that I have a plan that I can leverage and I can increase my production based on that plan. So let's look at that plan and talk about what's working and what's not. There are two things you absolutely have to know as a real estate agent, and I'm going to fully give you one of those today. What I mean when I say fully give you is I'm going to provide you with an actual spreadsheet with built-in formulas that some genius minds in my network have created that we use at our own brokerage. It's very, very simple, and we know that real estate is simple as well. Real estate is basic, okay? Daily contacts over time, right? So we've created a tool that spits out the number of daily contacts you need to make based on your actual life goals. So wait, before I lose you and you roll your eyes and you say, yes, Vince, it's not news to anyone that we have to know the number of daily contacts to generate business. We have to make them strategically within our pillars of business through our daily vital activities that we know work. You know, before you say, come on, Vince, are you going to get on a soapbox about accountability and what gets tracked gets measured, what gets measured gets done? And to that, in this moment, I say no. Well, actually, I say yes because I believe all of those things wholeheartedly, but I'll leave those motivational videos for the big timers that are viral to charge you for. So I'm going to actually give you a product today that you can download and implement into your own business. So check this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch screens and share a recording of my screen. I'm going to go through an example of an agent who wants to make $200,000 in real estate this year, and they want to work 47 weeks of the year, which is pretty good. 5 weeks off. We're going to go ahead and say it's the 6-month mark. So we've got $100,000 to make the second half of the year. Let's assume we're already on track up to this point because we actually did this activity at the end of 2023 to plan for a strong 2024. So the agent in this scenario is on track. They need to make another $100,000, and we're going to figure out the number of daily contacts per day that they need. So I've got to throw in a really quick caveat before switching screens. We are not just picking these financial goals and these numbers because they are nice, even round numbers. I'm not just saying 200,000 because it's good. I'm not just saying I want to sell 10 million because it's round. I'm saying you have got to understand what production volume translates into dollars and what dollars translates into for life. So what I mean by that is don't say I want to sell 10 million this year if you don't even know what income that would provide. Therefore, we have to start with how we want our life to look. Yes, I know this is a different video as I so often do, but I just had to put the caveat in there. We have to know what this income is going to provide. So we're picking these numbers based on how much we want to work, the life we want to live, because that's the whole point of creating income, right? You'll often hear me say that we don't work for money, but for the life that it can provide. So when you're taking this spreadsheet, when you're doing it on your own, I need you to go ahead and reevaluate your goals, that number that you are picking for the next 6 months. You've got to know your personal expenses, your business expenses, and then how much that life you want to live costs. What does the boat cost? What does the new car cost? The house that you may want to upgrade to, the travel, the luxuries. It's okay to dream a little bit. So know those numbers and you'll be just fine. So let's go ahead and dive right into the spreadsheet. Okay, this is the plan, the tracker that I'm raving about. So you know I'm Vince Ramsey. We are going to only edit the numbers in blue, the figures in blue on this formula. So you're going to start, of course, with your aspirations to live an abundant life. I want to buy a boat, catch some Braves games, go to some vacations. Definitely want to donate to my charities. So this is why I say we have to start with how we want life to look. How much is that going to cost? Well, between living this life and having my mortgage and my current expenses, I need 170 there. I need 30,000 to spend on my business because I know that's what I spend on my marketing, my advertising, etc. When we talk about goals and finances in this spreadsheet, this $30,000 is already deducted from the tax part for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So here's the $200,000 that this guy wants to make working 47 weeks a year like we talked about. So I need to make $200,000. I don't need to pay tax on $200,000 and keep what's left, right? So we're going to add a multiplier in here for taxes that tells me I need to gross $280 actually to keep $200. Now, you may be a wizard at your taxes. You may be creative with your deductions and you can leverage this. So maybe you need to make a little less to keep the $200. That's between you and your CPA, your accountant, all things that matter. So let's go ahead and stick with the multiplier like I'm going to have a large tax bill on my money. So $280 is what we actually need to gross to net the $200. We're going to say our average commission for listings and buyers are 2.5%. Now they may be more for you. We want to always plan on the low side, correct? So we overachieve our goals. Let's keep it low at the 2.5. We're working on our value props and making sure we're getting more 6% listings, especially amidst the current climate. But let's stick with this for now. Average closed sale price is $300,000 in this scenario. It may be $900,000 if you live in, downtown Charleston, South Carolina. It may be $150,000 if you're in the middle of Oklahoma, where it's rural. Who knows? Whatever it is for you, you plug that in here. You're going to say, hey, I'm a 30% listing guy. I'm a 70% buyer guy or gal. Maybe you are the opposite. Maybe you're only listings. Regardless, you plug in your data here, or maybe your goal of what you want to be that year. We're going to spit out the number of listings and the number of buyers you need for that year at the average commission that we've set on the average sales price. And boom, that's how we make our $280. So we know we need to close 37 deals and have 3 a month. You're thinking, man, that seems like a lot, or maybe it doesn't seem like very much at all. Of course, these numbers change as we go. If you are a 90% listing side and a 10% or 10% listing, 90% buyer, that's going to change here on the number of listings and buyers you need. Let's just keep it back the way it was and continue on here. So everything's editable for you. So on the listing side, we need these 11 listings to close. Now, let's say we have a 90% ratio, which means 90% of the properties we list go to closing. 9 out of 10. There's one there that we might not get. So we're going to actually need 12 listings that year. On the same premise, we have 12 listings. What's our conversion rate? Well, Vince, 9 out of the 10 tables I go to, I convert into a sign in the yard. Boom, there's that 90%. Let's say you're not a strong listing conversion agent. So 5 out of 10 properties you go to present to hire you. Well, now we're going to need double the listing presentations, right? But that's not going to be the case here because we've worked on our listing conversion and our value prop, and we are getting 9 out of 10 of our listings. So with that being said, we're going to have 14 of those presentations. To have 14 of those presentations, we have to have at least 1.2 a month. So let's go for 2 a month so we make sure we hit this goal. That's the listing side based on the data. Do you see how this starts to build? Now we're going to go onto the selling side on the buyers. To have 26 closed sales, because we know we need that because we're a 70% buyer agent. And again, this all changes for you at a 90% conversion rate. So you say, hey, Vince, 9 out of the 10 buyers that sign up with me, we get to the closing table. Maybe it's 100%, maybe it's 50% because of your market, whatever it may be. Because of that, you're going to need 29 buyers to close 26. 3 are going to slip through the cracks. They're going to quit. They're going to give up. They're not going to qualify at the end of the day, whatever it may be. 26. But to have 29 buyers signed up means you need 2.5 monthly. So let's call that 3. So 3 buyers a month, 1 to 2 listings a month or presentations a month to get our 14 for the year. And voila, we've got a little bit of our formula here, but we've got to go one level deeper. We've got to talk about that magic number of conversations per day. Now, we at my brokerage assume 35 contacts and conversation is what gets us a client or customer. So that number may be less for you. It may be more. It may only take you 10 conversations with potential prospects to get the deal signed up. Whatever it is for you, we're going to go ahead and assume 35 here. So in order to have 43 clients to get the 37 closings we need, we're going to have 1,500 conversations this year. In order to have 1,500 conversations, we need to have 6.4 daily conversations over 235 days. That's the 47 weeks a year that I want to work. I want 5 weeks off. If this number is 51 weeks, you only want a week off. You simply just take this 235,
You change it up here to the number of days you want to work. If you want to work for 30 days, 1 month out of the year, you got to have 50 talks every 30 days. You catch my drift? So we're going to go back into that 235 where I have it set because I want to work 47 weeks. There is your magic number, 6.4. I'm going to call it 7 daily conversations. Why is this so important? Because this is the process that frees you from what do I do with my hands, Ricky Bobby, right? So now you know that I just need to have 6 to 7 strategic conversations a day within these pillars of business. If you're with a big brokerage that has a lot of out-of-state referrals, leverage that. If you're good at your client care like you should be, leverage that. Work your sphere. I don't care if it's open houses, websites, FSBOs, expireds, whatever it may be. And then once you're doing that throughout the year and having these daily conversations, go ahead and track what's working. So next year when we do this, we can see where the majority of our business came from and we can increase and boost it on that side within these conversations. So this is in its glory, the spreadsheet we've created. I'm so happy to share this to allow you to put in your goals, your dollars, your conversion rates and commissions and splits, and go ahead and decide how much you need to do each day. Especially if this market's getting more favorable, you're going to want to know this number.
So there you have it, folks. Look, I know that we don't all have our conversion rates and ratios figured out. Maybe we haven't been great at analyzing what truly works and what doesn't. So listen, just give yourself some grace. Start right now. Start right now, tracking your actions and figuring out what works. In 6 months, when you do this again, or let's say 5 months, we want to do this at the end of 2024. When you do this again, you'll know what works and what's not been working, so you can be more strategic with those daily number of touches. So be careful, however, there are a million shiny objects out there. Let's focus on getting really good at 2 or 3 things like past client care, consistent open houses if your brokerage offers that up as an opportunity for you, sitting at a coffee shop from 9 to 11 every Tuesday with your name tag on where people start to see you. It doesn't matter, and I don't care what they are, but at least now you have an idea of how many of those things per day to generate the business you need. I promised I would share this, and it's easy to get from me. I'll have my email pop up right here on the screen. You just let me know if you want the document and I'll be happy to send it your way. We'll even work through it together if you have questions. As always, I am Vince Ramsey. I truly hope this helped you today because we know that we may go faster alone, but we go farther together. Do something kind for someone today, and thank you for taking the time with me to rise up in real estate.